People just see me as a page 3 girl, but I'm a lot more than that.
A knocker out with my knockers.
Celebrity Wrestling coming soon.
I was speaking to a mutual friend who I mentioned earlier about a show you were a coach on. So I think you know I'm going to ask. It aired about 15, 20 years ago on ITV called Celebrity Wrestling. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this or ask you about it briefly, but if you could just give a summary about your time on this TV show.
I loved it. I had a great time.
Yeah.
There's factors that kind of, I think, there's two major factors that kind of boned us out, why that show didn't do well.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, and probably most significantly, is that they put us on against the reboot of Doctor Who. You don't do that in England. Doctor Who's the religion over there, right? It'd be like putting us up against soccer. Like, we're not going to win. It's just the way it is. Or football, as you guys call it. So that kicked us in the ass hard. But also, like, when they flew me in, like, I'd signed the deal without quite knowing what the show was. I wasn't allowed to know. I had to sign up first. What the hell? So I'd signed up. They flew me over. And D'Lo Brown, we met at the hotel. They said, okay, we're going to go and take it to ITV Towers. You're going to meet everybody. So they take us up and, meet all the producers and stuff. Very nice people. And then they say, okay, so here's what we're doing. And here's diagrams of the game towers. And we're like, game what? What are you talking about? And I look at it, and it was really, I don't know, kind of Hollywood in a way, because I was like, oh, it's gladiators. And like, it's almost like you heard the record skip and everybody stopped and dropped their cutlery and stared at you, in the spotlight. I'm like, what? And they're going, you can't say gladiators. I'm like, why not? They say, well, Gladiators is a BBC property and this is ITV. I'm like, well, you can call it date rape if you want. It's still fucking Gladiators. I mean, no one to tell you. Right? And like, well, we just, we put a lot of thought into this. And I'm like, okay, like, I appreciate it. Okay, this is going to be a shoot, though. It's not like bent. We're not going to fix it to see who wins. No, it's on the level. Like, okay. All right, well, I have to say, I think the name is a bad idea. Like, it's my responsibility. If I see something I think is a problem, I'm going to bring it up. Then if you say it's not a problem, it's not a problem. But if it turned out to be a problem, I didn't bring it up, then it's on me when it fucks up. I think the name's a problem. I said, because you're calling it celebrity wrestling. People who don't like wrestling aren't going to tune in.
Yeah.
People who do like wrestling are going to tune in, and they're not going to get wrestling. And they're going to be pissed off. They're going to tune out. So in turn, I think the name is going to undermine it. They call it Celebrity Challenge, Celebrity Combat, Celebrity whatever. I think the wrestling part of it is covered, like, especially because Roddy Piper's on, right? You have Roddy Piper on. Then you have D'Lo Brown to a lesser extent, and then you have me to a lesser extent to that. So between the three of us, you've got your wrestling base covered. I don't think you have to beat them over the head with the name wrestling. But no, we've done focus groups and blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be celebrity wrestling. Okay, that's, I agree. That's what you want to do. It's not a game changer for me. It's just, this is what I saw as an issue. And so they ran with it as celebrity wrestling. And sure enough, when it got broadcast, the first thing people said to me when they watched it was, that ain't wrestling. Like, yeah, go figure, right? So I think the name shot them in the foot. I mean, I had a great time. I got to hang out with, like Kate Lawler. She's cool as hell. With Kate Lawler and a whole bunch of them there. Ewan Thomas, like a Olympic silver medalist and such. That's great company. Oliver Skeet. A whole bunch of them.
It actually did decent ratings. If you take away Doctor Who and the competition and just focus solely on celebrity wrestlers like the first week or two, did quite well.
I think it was only the first 2 weeks, though. I'd love to say that you're right and that we championed out of something good, but I think it was only the first 2 weeks, and they were waiting for something wrestling to come along, and then when it wasn't, I think people they watched the first week, they're like, oh, this isn't wrestling, and then like a part of that audience said, well, we'll give it a chance next week and see. And then after the second week, like, we were promised wrestling, we're not getting wrestling, so we're not going to watch. But I think that's where it ate shit.
You did nail it, though. It wasn't wrestling. It was pretty much Gladiators, but they just changed the fucking name. Spot on.
I think that probably would have been a help. But I talked to D'Lo after, like, when we were taking the elevator down out of Titan, or out of ITV Towers. I was like, do you not agree with me? He goes, Joe, I brought it up when they called me. Like, but you know, they're paying, so I just shut up and let them pay me.
But
And then a couple weeks later, Roddy showed up, and then we pulled Roddy. He said, "Listen, Roddy, like, not for nothing. Don't you think this is a bad idea? Call it that." He goes, "I told him myself. You know." So we all warned him.